Hello, BookTube, and welcome back. It is May 13th, and it has been a week since I filmed my first writing diary. So this will be week 2. I did get a bit of writing done. I have about 3,400 words since last week. Not as many as I would hope for, but it's at least a bit of a start. The project that I have been working on is the sequel to the completed manuscript I have, which I don't know if I talked about in the last one. It's a lighthearted, contemporary, I hope rom-com, though I'm not sure how actually funny I am. So this is the sequel to that. It is about 3 of the side characters in the first book, and then I introduce a new character as well. I'm starting to get a feel for some of the characters. You never know, at least for me, I'm never quite sure who these people are until they start interacting on the page and they get a little bit of life breathed into them and have some freedom to interact and things like that. And that's part of the process for me, is just kind of free writing, letting these conversations happen just sort of on a whim, getting a feel for who is this person. I do try and kind of map out what they do, who they are beforehand, at least sometimes. Several of these characters, they started out as just, I need a friend for this person from this main character from the first book. And, I give them a name, and for a while they're just a name on the page and just someone there to be interacted with. But then through the whole process of the story developing and just the creative juices going outside of my writing, I actually have a tendency to get lost in the side characters sometimes as they start to come to life. So I actually have been, in this case with this current project, I have been thinking about their story for a while. I have to say, though, that I think 2 of the characters in this I have thought about a lot more than the other 2, so it's 4 total main characters, 2 couples. So I've definitely developed more on who they are, where their story is going to at least start. I'm having a bit of trouble deciding what kind of conflict overall is going to happen with 2 of them, how it's going to play out, how it's going to be resolved, all of that stuff. So I'm still working on that. I haven't quite outlined that far yet into the story, but I am glad that I've actually gotten a bit of a ways into at least the first chapter. It's taken me a bit longer to get the wheels going on this one than the first story. So I had a great idea with the first one and how the story would begin. So when I started that one, I wrote 40 pages just, almost like right away. And with this current one, I don't even have 10 written yet. So it's a slow process, and I might switch gears and work on my urban fantasy, partly because I started watching Castlevania again. I've been slowly making my way through season 3 of that on Netflix. And so that's, definitely bringing vampires to the forefront of the mind again. But my lighthearted contemporary series is definitely, it's the only thing I focused on over the past week. I had a bit of a mind struggle with a concept. I struggle with word choice and vocabulary that certain characters use in books. So really the root of it, for example, in the first installment of my lighthearted rom-com, I did not use the word bitch once in there because I have just decided, I've come to the conclusion through the assistance of many friends and just people in general that it's not a good word. It's so gender specific and its intentions are so derogatory that I've really come to not like that word, and I have stopped using it in my just everyday vocabulary. However, I struggle with whether I should still allow myself to use vocabulary such as that, or even more colorful descriptors in that same vein, should I allow my characters to use them? Because there are, we need to have bad characters, we need to have, upsetting characters and things like that, offensive characters, and I struggle a bit with how I'm going to ultimately decide whether I allow myself to use language like that in my writing or not. Because there's some authors out there. I can't think of any examples, but I know there have been authors that have been criticized for, saying, oh, well, this author's racist, sexist, homophobic, yada, 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 because in this book they wrote characters like that. And the authors, of course, have tried to defend themselves with, well, that's not me, that's the character in the book. And what's the truth? Probably something more in the middle. I'm trying very hard to not come off as offensive, I suppose. That probably just sounds really silly. Anyway, that is about where I'm at right now. So this is week 2 of the Diary of Writing. I'm going to try and keep working at this, as always. Work's been crazy, but there are always excuses to not write. There's always a television show to watch. There's always an audiobook to listen to or a real book to read. And there are several readathons going on right now. There's the Asian readathon. There's all sorts of readathons happening right now. And I do like to take part in those and, be a part of the community in BookTube. But I'm really hoping to take the time to focus on writing more. So that is where I'm at with week 2 in this journey of vlogging my writing. Let me know what you think. If you have any writing projects going, let me know about them in the comments below or link some videos, things like that. And otherwise, I will check in another video soon.